Hi, I'm Ziara with WRPBiTV, and I have Jay Greene with Ducerus with me today, and he's going to tell us about his company and what he does. Good morning, Jay. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Tell us about Ducerus.
First of all, Ducerus is from the Latin root ducere, to lead or guide. And we created Ducerus to help lead and guide families through the college process, both the students as well as the parents.
What does that entail for you?
On different levels. Number one, there's three aspects to college planning or a complete plan. Number one is working with the students, so student preparation. Making sure they're doing everything to be marketable, to be coveted by their dream schools and the good schools. And the best schools out there are looking for the best talent, and they're looking for leadership, good academics, etc. So preparing the students so that they can get into and get accepted, it's a very competitive environment, to get into the schools. So that's the first step, or at least one area. The next one is figuring out what your costs are going to be, and that's the analysis and planning. And then there's the financial aid aspect, which is trying to get grants and scholarships so that we minimize out-of-pocket costs.
I have an 8-year-old daughter. What if she wants to go to Vanderbilt? When should I really start preparing?
Well, that's always a fun question. The day they were born, we held them in our arms, and we promised to love, protect them, provide for them, and get them a great education. It's a typical speech of a parent to their newborn. And then we blink, and they're 16 years old, and they're looking at schools, and we're like, oh my God, where'd the time go? Or my favorite question, am I late? So theoretically, we know we have 18 years. So when it comes to planning, planning is still based in savings, and we're not a savings society anymore. We haven't been for a number of decades. But college is ridiculously expensive, from $20,000 a year for a state university upwards to $70,000 a year potentially. So we need to save, and the sooner we start saving, and saving properly, not necessarily how we're shown or taught, but the sooner we start saving, the better. The more we save, the less we're going to have to borrow. And we already know that the student debt crisis is ridiculous.
Now, how do you walk parents through the process? Give me how somebody would reach you and what they would start needing to do with you.
Well, again, awareness is key. Number one, we do and have always done free workshops for families on how to pay for college without going broke. So we focus on the financial aid aspect at most of our workshops to educate families on the process, how to figure out not just the retail sticker price, but they need to know what their cost will be, because everyone pays a different price for the same education. It's based on income, assets, abilities of our students. So families need to get educated on the process. They really need to come to a workshop. I do virtually an hour and a half to 2 hours solid workshop on the whole process. And families need to understand the steps: merit-based aid, need-based aid, what their costs will be, school selections, which schools will be most favorable, which schools can help them, and which schools can't. So in a perfect world, we want to find a blend of the best academic value for the best economic value, and make sure it's affordable. That's the key word, is affordability. Because the families that have kids going to college typically are in that early 40 to early 50 age range. And there's also they need to save and plan for their retirement, when how you pay for college is going to directly affect your retirement.
And a lot of parents, because parents are getting older, later in life parents, and we're kind of in that stage to where our children will be in college as we're hitting retirement. And so that's a big issue with planning for both.
Right. And again, you can borrow for college, you can't borrow for retirement. I recommend not borrowing for college either. And again, the key is affordability. It's really, the earlier you start, the better your results. And again, I can't stress early enough, we need to start yesterday.
So you give parents a lot of hope that there is something they can plan for with your service. You can guide them through the process, teach them what they need to start doing today, not tomorrow, but today, so that you can guide them through the whole process. And how do they find you?
Well, again, through workshops or on our website, www.ducerus.com. We're a national company. We have 16 offices. I'm located here in Boca Raton. We do workshops. I'm a guest speaker at all the college fairs, all the high schools. So we're out there educating the public. And again, it's free information, a good 2 hours. And again, there is a lot of hope out there. There is a lot of money available. We have students going to $60,000 and $70,000 schools for fractions of that price. We have families going to Vanderbilt for $10,000 a year. I have families going to Northwestern getting $60,000 a year in grants. Kids at schools getting just great grants and scholarships. But you have to know how to do the research, have to know how to find the right fit. And again, come to a workshop. After you come to a workshop, then if you want, we can always have a conversation, but you need to get the base education.
Now, Jay, does this take a lot of time as a parent to get through this process?
With or without us?
Without you, Jay.
It's a lot longer, obviously, without us. But even on every family and file that we work with, for one student to do prep, family, and everything, we figure it's about 100 to 120 hours of work to do it properly.
Which is nothing when it comes to your child's education.
No, and again, families need to either set aside that time and start working on it. But again, it's just knowledge, it's education, it's a process. And you must know the process and must know the intricacies to work it properly.
Well, thank you, Jay, for coming to WRPBiTV and helping us through the process. And we thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thanks.